Today we're talking about what not to do when you go to the dealership. How to not get taken advantage of when you're at the car dealership. Thanks for joining us today, but before we get started, don't forget to click the subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or we drop a new video. Welcome back. We have today, guys, Bonnie Simon. She is a rock star, superstar, has a master's degree in computer science, but today she's talking about cars. What you got, Bonnie?
Well, I go out and I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of them are afraid to go to car dealerships because they might get taken advantage of. And so I thought that today it would be useful or interesting to talk about how not to get taken advantage of at a car dealership. What do you think?
I love it.
Yes! So Ronnie, what do you think is the number one thing that a person should be aware of when she's going to go to a car dealership? What's the most important thing for her to think about?
Well, know your credit. You need to know what your credit is. You don't want a dealership telling you what you qualify for, right?
Oh, interesting. So why is that?
Because, you've worked hard to keep your credit score high and you pay your bills on time, and you don't want to qualify for 3% and the dealer tell you that you're going to qualify for 8%.
Ooh, very good point. Very good point. Now, I wouldn't have thought of that before I started working as an auto broker, but that is something that that you really might want to think about if you're going to go to a car dealership. Because he's right. If you don't know what your credit score is, anybody can tell you what you qualify for and you won't know any different.
Well, that's the number one thing, but we have 6 things in total for you today, right, Bonnie?
That's right, we do. Well, we really only have 5 because the last 2 are connected.
Okay, we got 5. That's right, we got 5 incredible things to talk about today to everybody about how not to get taken advantage of at the dealership. Bonnie, get right into it.
Okay, well the next one is that you need to know your budget. And I wouldn't have thought of this one, Ronnie thought of this one, but he had a good reason, which is because if you don't know, if you don't know how much you want to spend, if you're not clear on what your budget is, it's pretty easy for somebody to talk you into something more than you really are wanting to pay for.
That's exactly right, because so many times I hear people, I can't afford my car payment. I don't know why my car payment is so much. Because they made the decision to buy, then they process what that should be over time and realized they had more month left than they did money. So Bonnie, we're talking about the budget and knowing your credit. What's the next thing you got for them?
The next thing is something that people don't always think about, but you can read your paperwork. This is a lot of times when people buy a house or they buy a car, there's a lot of paperwork and they don't read it. And most of the time that's all right, but sometimes things slip through that maybe you didn't want to really sign. So, for example, we had somebody come in who had bought a car with a salvage title, and she didn't know it was a salvage title because she hadn't read the paperwork and they hadn't told her the place that she bought it.
That's right. I mean, that car looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
She signed all the paperwork, found out later that she had signed knowing that it was a salvage title, but she claims to not remember that ever happening, right?
Right, well, she may not have read the paperwork. She really genuinely might not have known.
Okay, what do you have? What's next for them?
Well, the next one is something I learned from my dad, which is that when you're going to go and buy a car, if you know what kind of car you want, or once you know what kind of car you want, it is possible to find out what those cars are selling for. And the reason this is important is because sometimes people come in and they've bought a car and they owe more money on it than it was ever worth. So Clearly somebody sold them the car for more than they should have. But if you look up on the public data, like the NADA.com website, what the car is worth, then you know if you're getting a fair deal or not.
That's true.
Is there any more that you would add to that?
Yeah, I would think that, obviously when you're going out to look for a vehicle, there's a lot of things I would do, but number one, I would find out what budget I'm looking in and make sure to know what these cars are going to cost before I go test drive them. You don't want to test drive a car that's going to cost $50,000 when your budget is $30,000. So, Bonnie, what's the last 2 things you got for them?
Well, the last 2 are related to financing. A lot of people don't realize that you can go to your bank and you can get a loan from them. You don't have to borrow the money from the dealership or
That's
through
right.
the dealership.
That's right.
So your bank is going to run your credit and they're going to give you a rate based on whatever their going rates are at the time. You can take that and you can go to the dealership and see what rate they will give you. But apparently it's legal to add a couple of percentage points to the rate. And if the dealership is doing that, but you've already been to your bank and you know what rate they're going to give you, then it's going to be obvious which loan you should go with. But if you haven't gone to the bank and you don't ask what rate they're giving you, you might never even know.
That's exactly right, Bonnie.
I learned that from you.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, to add to that, yeah, some dealerships can write up the rate. So you could qualify for 3%, but when you come sign out for your loan, it's at 6%. So even if you're going to use the dealer's financing, you should find out what you qualify for without a dealer. That way, the numbers, trust but verify. So you're able to know, okay, these numbers are in the realm of what I was expecting to pay, so I'm good with it. If it's double what you were expecting to pay, don't do the deal. All right, Bonnie, listen, those are great points. Know your credit, know your budget, read the paperwork, guys. Know what your desired vehicle is selling for, and these two go together. Know what your rate should be that you qualify for yourself, as well as asking the rate that they're going to give you at the dealership so you can verify it. Any other final thoughts for everybody?
Yeah, a lot of what we talked about here today, we can help you walk through. We can help you understand how much you're really paying. We can help you know what your desired vehicle is selling for, and you can buy the vehicle from us and save yourself all the trouble of going to a dealership. How about that?
I love it. If you're not going to work with us, then at least follow these steps so you don't get taken advantage of. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'm Ronnie Haskins, and this is
Bonnie Simon.
See you next time.